Hello, this is the Radio Geek, and today for you I have the Daogoly PR 108, and this time we'll be looking on the inside of this radio to find out what's inside. One of the comments I got was asking whether or not we'd take a look inside. So here we go. This is the circuit board, and this is what it's marked as, an ST-821D, and there's the date. Looks like January 19th of 2018, version 1, so brand new version. You can see some debris on the board there, and this is the inside here on the, I guess, top side. You can see the tuning wheel and a capacitor and a crystal and the tuning mechanism, as well as the antenna and the speaker. You can see inside's not painted at all either. There's the close-up of the speaker itself. Kind of your typical cheesy low-cost radio speaker, I guess. It sounds okay though, so you know, what are you gonna do? And then this next picture here is a little bit closer of it, of the circuit board. You can see the antenna a little bit better. The antenna is not really that long. It's probably like an inch and a half, maybe inch and 3/4. Quite a few wrappings around the antenna there, and then you just have a few other components here on the top side. You've got the switch and so forth. This is the back side, where most of the circuitry is. All the surface mount stuff anyway is on the back side of the circuit board, and you can see some wires and some other things there, and we'll take a little closer look at some of those things and what some of the solder quality is like. Here's the first shot. Here you can see that R5 there is a little skewed off the pads, and the solder looks a little blobby. There's some debris, some solder on the board. You can see that. Something typical that you would see in a radio, of this price range. It's gonna just be that way. Here we got a melted wire, one of the battery lines there, and then instead of going through the through hole, it's just soldered on that little pad. That looks like not much holding it on there, in fact. So I'm sure each one of these radios, if you take it apart, you'll find something different. I'm sure these things are just literally going down the line, and people are soldering as it's moving. More here with the antenna wire being connected to various different spots, and then there's another wire there, the blue wire being soldered there as well. All in all, it's not bad radio. For the price, you got to keep that in mind and what it's going to look like inside. I mean, these things are just literally thrown together, I'm sure. This one here, this is the audio chip. It's one of those 8000 series, 8003 audio chip that we've seen in a number of different other radios, and they're usually some Chinese branded IC. They're all audio chips, probably all the same pinout and everything. It's a very common, popular chip. I've got the data sheet here for this particular one, at least the first page there. You can pause that and read it if you want. It just kind of tells you a little bit about the audio amplifier. Like I say, it's a pretty common part that they use on these inexpensive radios. So nothing really amazing here. Although this next one, it kind of shocked me when I saw what was in here for the radio chip. I had to actually put some isopropylene alcohol on it so I could read it, because it was so faded you couldn't hardly read the writing. But it looks like it's a Silicon Labs chip, or at least it looks like it is. And I thought, wow, that's really surprising. I mean, it does a good job and everything. And I'll look up the part number and see what it is, if this really is a Silicon Labs chip. And I put in the number there, the SI, was it 4825A, to see if I could find a data sheet for it. And I found a data sheet for it on the Silicon Labs website, and there's a screenshot of the data sheet. You could stop that or pause it and look at that if you like. And I thought, man, I thought those chips were pretty expensive parts. I can't imagine this being in a $12 radio, you know. I would think that it would be much more than that. So then I said, well, I'm going to look this up, see if I can find it on Mouser or DigiKey or something. And there it is. I found it on DigiKey. And of course, this is a one-piece price of $14.50 some cents. So you got to figure in quantity and in volume, it's probably at least $1.40, $1.25 maybe. Not much cheaper than that. And I got to think the bill of material for this radio can't be more than $2 total. I mean, that's probably way on the high side. I'm thinking maybe even $1.25, $1.50 for the whole radio to manufacture it and get it out the door. So I really kind of have my suspicions of whether or not that's really a real authentic Silicon Labs chip. I mean, I could be wrong. The logo looks a little funky, and it was really, really lightly labeled. I don't know if they're fakes, they're factory seconds, factory sweepings, or maybe they're the real deal. But I really kind of doubt that it is, because, you know, that price of that chip in that radio, I just don't see how they could do that, and Amazon selling them for you know, $12. I mean, I could see that chip in like a more expensive Texan or Sangean or something like that, but in the Daogoly, I really kind of have my suspicions. But anyway, that's a peek under the hood and what the radio looks like. So if you guys have any other questions, I'll try my best to answer it. And until next time, this is the Radio Geek.